story is quite juicy. Comes out of Manitoba. It's a PG. It's crazy. And also Manitoba Court of Appeals has ordered the government
Okay, anyway, so that means that
cannabis is expensive.
We acknowledge Treaty 6 territory, the traditional and ancestral territory of the Cree, Dean, Blackfoot, Saulteaux, and Nakota Sioux. We acknowledge that this territory is home to the Métis settlements and the Métis nations of Alberta, Regions 2, 3, and 4 within the historical Northwest Métis homeland.
We acknowledge the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who have lived in and cared for these lands for generations. We are grateful for the traditional knowledge keepers and elders who are still with us today and those who have gone before us. We make this acknowledgement as an act of reconciliation and gratitude to those whose territory we reside on or are visiting.
Good morning!
Good morning! Welcome to Lifted Mornings. We are a cannabis-friendly show made for the age of those above the age of those above. I'm sick today, guys. I've been sick since about Friday, and I've just been ignoring it, and now it's like, stop ignoring me, you're sick. Anyways, here we are. Let's get things started with cannabis news.
Saskatchewan Liquor and Gaming Authority is making several changes to retail cannabis rules. Starting June 5th, retail cannabis stores were no longer required to ask for proof of identification on every purchase in store and pickups.
While still required to check those who appear under 25, and delivery drivers are still required to check ID regardless of age.
There were some other updates made on the 9th of, or coming up on the 9th of June. I don't even know what day it is, you guys. It's the 7th. Coming up on the 9th of June. You can find all of these in the Cannabis Regulatory Policy Manual for the SLGA. They made some other changes when it came to personal and corporate disclosures for applicants of any individual or corporation and other entities with ownership stakes of 10% of the applicant. So that was different.
Retailers who have received a cannabis store permit from First Nations cannabis license authorities will be able to purchase cannabis from registered suppliers and permitted wholesalers of the province.
This is huge.
That's huge news.
So the legislation was passed with loyal assent in May for those changes.
And for people that don't know, they haven't been able to access it before. So they've kind of been limited to their own success because they don't have the same, opportunity of suppliers and wholesalers as the legal market.
But on the flip side of that, they also didn't have to deal with some of the things the legal market did,
yes.
i.e. education is still present.
Mm-hmm.
So with the FNCA's approval, they can also sell cannabis wholesale to provincial approved retailers. This is huge, guys. They must still adhere to all provincial and federal guidelines while doing so. And Saskatchewan also announced that they're launching a minors in test shopping program.
Yeah, so this is to ensure retailers are doing their due diligence when it comes to checking ID for anyone appearing under 25.
So
I got ID the other day.
You think they're just going to send someone in there 21 and then be like,
Apparently, when a retailer in Red Deer had a GLC come in, and it was just two young girls, and they were just having so much fun and laughing about. And then the store person got excited with them and forgot to check, and then they got in trouble.
Oh, so it happens.
Fine. They play into it sometimes.
They do.
try to distract you. But yeah, so retailers are no longer needing to provide a copy of Health Canada's consumer health document for cannabis either. So that's exciting.
Yeah, big changes. And it's nice to see the province stepping up and not waiting for the review to come out from the federal government. All right, moving right along, because as always, we're excited for our guest. The race to the bottom is hurting the cannabis market's future.
OCS CEO says the race to the bottom with price risks are hurting the market. David Lobo, Ontario Cannabis Store President and Chief Executive, attended LIFT last week in Toronto. And in one of his speeches, he explained how the race to the bottom is happening in the cannabis market.
He went on to state, once you condition consumers to certain prices, it may take a generation to change perceptions on price tolerances. He continued on to say, in an economy where inflation has impacted every other consumer good, we just can't keep pushing lower.
Meanwhile, the legacy market is much cheaper and is still operating outside of restrictions imposed on the legal market. OCS estimated in Ontario alone, the legacy market still made up 43% of the cannabis market as of last March.
Down from June 2020, however, where it held at 75%. So we are seeing more people
shift to the legal side, which
yes.
is nice. Cannabis producers have been dropping prices, and Stats Canada says that a legal gram of cannabis costs about $10.29 on average in 2019, whereas OCS had some dry flower products selling for under $4 a gram this week. So,
and if you've seen that little map come up, like there's some serious bottoming out price variation across the country. So we are seeing that, and it's people still need to make money. They still got to put their lights on, pay their employees. It's a wild game out there, guys. The OCS is also trying to do its part in fighting this gap with the lowering prices this fall, and it is estimated to hand $60 million to licensed producers next year if all goes to plan.
So, thought on prices versus sales. I mean, I would rather have good quality cannabis for a little bit more of a price than subpar cannabis that doesn't give me the effects that I'm looking for, or like help me out with my health. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like there's health restrictions to having or health. I can't speak today, but there is problems with your health of smoking, you know,
if
more
it hasn't
quality
been
cannabis.
flushed properly,
yes.
like what was used to grow it, its conditions, its environment. There's so many things that grow into a plant.
And so like since we started doing the show and I started learning so much, because I didn't know before I would buy highest THC, cheapest price. Now I'm like looking for a more quality bud, and I kind of know what to look for now instead of just the percentage of THC, you know. So that's nice.
Just sounds like a headache and a sore throat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Our next news story. This is some juicy stuff here.
Always the juice. Come on.
So an elderly man got confused at the border, led to his arrest. Andrew Lee Toppenberg, 60 years old, from Tustin, California, took a wrong turn and ended up at the borderline at Canadian Border Services Agency. This is a 1-day, 13-hour wrong turn.
I don't think, maybe he was visiting over there.
I don't know about that.
How it led to a wrong turn. As you've seen in the video, he was trying to enter into Canada through Niagara Falls, Ontario, and because he had no passport, he was then referred to the second security check and examination, to which border security agents discovered 181 kilograms of cannabis.
And $816,000 in cash.
Yeah. Not a little amount. And, you know, not that it was a little organized, but everything was vacuum sealed in various locations. The cash was like in a Pelican case in a cooler. So maybe he knew it was there.
Like, how would you forget? Like, how would you drive up to border securities and be like, eek?
What do you do? do? Do you just turn
I
around
forgot.
in the line?
I have a minivan's worth of weed in my car.
And turning around, he was probably sweating. Like, if he leaves the line, you can't. Once you're in those lines, like, you can't get out.
I've never
you can't
driven over
turn
the border.
around.
Oh, gosh.
It's not a good time. Okay, and so while we're
Stress.
speaking of the border, if anyone is watching and they do not know, even though we are legal in Canada, and if you are crossing into a legal state, you still cannot bring your cannabis with you. The border is federally regulated, so we're not allowed to bring our cannabis over. You can bring CBD with you if it is 0.03%. That is it. That is the only way you will not get in trouble because the border is federal. Medicinal, they don't care. There's been so many people get arrested because they think legal state, Canada's legal. Boop boop. That's not going to happen, guys. So don't be like Toppenberg.
So the officers obviously arrested Toppenberg, and he's been charged, and he's currently waiting on bail for his bail hearing. And he appeared before a justice on May 5th, and he has been remanded into custody where he remains until his next court date, which has not been yet scheduled.
So you can still get arrested. And I'm just saying, if you're over your legal limit, probably
what does
definitely
181 kilograms of weed look like?
Oh, do you want to see the video again?
Yeah, let's look at this again. Just like,
here we go. It's coming. Oh, yes. Nice border
coming.
badge.
Oh,
there we go.
Yes.
There's the border where you cross.
Okay, yeah.
See?
Oh, yeah, the bridge. Wow, nice.
It's a lot.
That is a lot.
It was a lot. And they had it on tables actually stacked up. You know how the police like to do it. They like to get their little fold-out table. And it was quite a bit. All right, so that's all for news today, guys. We're going to head into tourism and then our lovely guest. So many things coming up. I just love that you can find a cannabis tourism event no matter where you are in Canada.
Yeah, it's happening. Things are happening. Remember last year, 2 years ago, when we were like, let's find something fun, cannabis to do. We couldn't find anything.
You had to search so
now
hard.
You barely have to look. There's one in every city. There's so many things, guys. This is awesome. So if you guys have an event, if you're watching, if you're one of our people watching, and you have an event coming up, just let us know. I'm going to throw it on the show for you.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we love talking about everyone's events, sharing them up. That way everyone knows what they can do on the weekend.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, June 17th, ladies and gentlemen, Hormones and Cannabis is coming up.
This is
the Divine Feminine. This is a 19 plus ladies only event.
Put on by the Canna Ladies.
Yes.
Which,
and it's being hosted in Calgary, Alberta. So if you're in the area, it's a unique discussion and opportunity to partake on some education around cannabis and your hormones. So exciting.
And I love the Canna Ladies events because they're very, very educational. Like they're educational from like a very welcoming environment. Like, you know, even me not
whether
knowing.
you know something or you maybe don't know something, you'll take away from the events. And of course, they always have their famous swag bags.
Exactly.
Which who doesn't love getting spoiled a little bit?
And you could get tickets for that still on Eventbrite.
Yeah. Or you can contact the Canna Ladies or Bud Betty on Instagram. Okay, what else do we have coming up? This was exciting.
Oh, breaking news. We found out that we could go to Jamaica for a cannabis event. What?
And not only a cannabis event, but this is really cool because they're taking into consideration all the local producers. You get to go on farm tours. You get to get in the local culture. You get some education.
And it's their slogan for the event is where the world meets to discuss cannabis and psychedelics. Sign me up. I'm ready. Like, let's go.
Who doesn't? So if you didn't see, this is happening September 21st to 23rd. So we still have time to save. Guys, we could just all go together.
We could. Group rate. It'll be great.
I feel like we need to go to Jamaica. So you can find out more at canxjamaica.regfox.com or by just Googling
Canx Jamaica. It came up really quickly.
Yeah.
Actually. And they also have an Instagram page with some beautiful photos of the resort. Like,
and price is not.
Yeah, I was actually surprised. I went to Jamaica right before Christmas last year with my daughter, and it was about $4,000 for the week, like to stay at the resort, not including flights. And this is about $1,300 for 5 days. So amazing prices. Yeah.
Doable. So let's just get a group rate on a flight now, guys.
Yeah. Oh, look, writing it down.
All right, so next, Canawiki is coming up, Conference and Expo in London, Ontario from June 14th to 15th. You can catch some amazing speakers, panels, discussions, education, market. This is going to be a great time. It's the cannabis event, guys. Any cannabis event, it's a vibe. I don't have an image for this next one, but I thought this was super cool. So every month in Calgary, there is a group that gets together for a cannabis meetup and education. So it's just for cannabis enthusiasts in the Calgary area who want to come and partake on education. They host a different speaker every month to brush on new topics. I thought it was super cool. And it's at the Blues Can. So, you know, anything that's promoting cannabis education, I'm going to be over here promoting you.
It's not on here, but shout out to Disciplined Stoners over there in Ontario. Their Rhythm and Flow night is moving venues. They're getting a little bit bigger. They're bringing in more vendors. They're making it more, zha.
Rhythm and Flow.
It's going to be amazing if you guys are in the Ontario, Toronto area, August 19th. Reach out to Disciplined Stoners, get your tickets to Rhythm and Flow. Every single time I talk to them, my cup is overfilling. So I know if you guys are in the area, you'll have a really good time. So
we were actually really blessed. We hadn't seen them in a while, so we're like, let's do a live chat. We did that last weekend. We left it up raw, uncut on our Instagram because such a beautiful conversation happened. I love whenever we get together with them. And we left it up there for you guys because we went on this really nice soul journey together. Talked about our feelings.
Yeah, it was so raw and authentic. We were like, all right, let's talk about men and their emotions and how much trauma, how much work we got to do.
Well, and
work
then
on this mental health, give them support.
We talked about, like how you need to have your feminine self and your masculine self needs to be in balance, just like your light and your shadow, whether you're a male, a female, however you identify in this world.
We
You're
talked
unique
about
and
being
important.
culture curators in the industry, and how the industry needs to remember the culture when we come forward with this. So the conversation was really, really great.
It was
on our Instagram. Go check it out.
If you're a man and you want to sign up for 11's course, do it.
Check that.
He's creating a super cool course as a result. And last but not least,
Camp Canada. Dun, dun, dun. Man, every single time I log on and somebody else has bought a ticket from somewhere else and a name that I don't know, I get so excited.
She does. Every time you buy a ticket, this is Alexis.
Because
like,
who are you? From? Where did you hear about us? Like, I just want to know. This
There's
is
not
amazing.
enough questions in the survey.
No, I could have asked novels. But yeah, no. So it's nice because when we went to events the last little bit, especially at Grow Up and the Catalyst, we'd walk up to groups of people that were telling people about Camp Canada. It's not coming just from our mouth. Last year, it was all from our mouth. This year, it's so nice to see the community spreading the word. That's the dream.
So filling.
So yes. Anyways, our sponsor and vendor deadline for Camp Canada, if you want your brand to be involved, is June 30th. And that's a hard deadline, guys, because I know how the cannabis community is. We like to leave everything to the last minute, but our printing company just doesn't accept that. So we have to get the banners done.
And we want handsome.
And we also barely have any vendor spots left. So if you guys want to be a vendor at Camp Canada, I think we have 3 spots left.
Get in
Not even kidding. I'm not just saying that.
Also, speaking of limited spots left, there's also, if you haven't bought your ticket, there's only a couple spots left for the MJ Minis.
I think there's 1 spot left.
With Blue Boudoir Photography.
Yes. Oh, gosh. And these are going to be gorgeous photos.
I wanted to gold leaf.
Yeah, I wanted to book one for myself, but there was only so many.
When you're hosting an event and you can't do everything at the event, you guys are spoiled. I want to do other things too. All right. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to show you this again. We have the creator of Mantra Cannabis coming in, Geeta. So let's welcome Geeta. Welcome,
Good
Geeta.
morning.
Good morning, ladies.
How are you?
I'm good and very happy to be part of your show. Thank you for welcoming me here in your show.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. So for those who don't know, you are the creator of Mantra Cannabis Oils, but you've had quite the journey in the cannabis industry. Do you maybe want to let everyone know?
Yeah, it's been quite interesting. I had never tried cannabis in my life before it became legal. So my journey is quite recent. So I started out my journey with opening up a dispensary.
Mhm.
I knew that I wanted to do a lot more, but I started out with in dispensary so that I could get my feet wet, understand about the product, understand about the consumers, how they use cannabis, what they use it for, and see what I could do. So interacting with customers gave me an idea, identified the gaps, identified the issues, the health concerns that customers had, how they were using cannabis to improve their life. So that gave me an idea to why not combine Ayurveda with cannabis. They are all plants, improve increase their medicinal benefits and start something that can give customers a better product
Mhm.
for to help with their health issues. So oils are just one of the things that I've started out with. I hope to have a longer journey with a lot more products after this.
So that's exciting. Okay, so you had no passion really for cannabis when you first started your dispensary. You just wanted to get in it, or were you passionate about the plant medicine at all before you got in it?
I was passionate about the medicine side. As I was growing up, I always wanted to be a doctor.
Right.
That never happened for me. I ended up taking a detour, ended up in business world. So I
Mhm.
spent my life in the business and financial side for last 25 years. However, that wellness component, helping people, that piece always stayed with me. And
Mhm.
that was always part of my life in some shape or form. Even when I was working, I would
Yeah.
spend time, find a way to either volunteer, be part of the nonprofit organizations, served on a board. But cannabis in itself was not something that I was passionate about. It was in the back of my mind. I had no stigma attached to it coming from India.
Mhm.
It was something that was part of our culture growing up. So I had a positive outlook. And when medical cannabis started becoming more prevalent in Canada, um, again, I kept myself open to a possibility how I could get into that industry. I wanted to, I just did not know how. So when the legalization started happening, and I came across an opportunity to own a dispensary, I thought that was my way in because that is the only way I could figure out how else could I get involved, what else could I do in this. So was I totally passionate about cannabis? No, but in the back of my mind, it was always there
Mhm.
that if I come across an opportunity, find a way in, I would like a way into this industry.
That's so powerful. Like you just believe in helping people, the wellness and medicinal side of it.
And that's how you got in. I think that's beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah. Because, everybody, like lots of people, probably, I would say like 50, 75% of the people that come into cannabis have been using cannabis for so
Previously.
long.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I don't ever hear a story of someone coming in that hasn't used it before legalization and you just want to help people. Like that's so powerful. But you said something earlier. You said that in India, it's part of the culture, cannabis. So is there a stigma in India when it comes to cannabis at all? Or is it like,
You're
or
just
do you experience that more here?
Here, it's much more, the stigma is a lot more. In
Mm.
India, because a whole We have a festival of Holi in March, and cannabis bhang is part of a celebratory drink. We make a drink with milk, almonds, and mix a lot of other nuts in there, and add mixed cannabis to that, and we drink it on the day of Holi. Of course, I never had an opportunity to drink it when I was there because I was young. I came here as a student.
Mhm.
But I have seen people smoke it. I have seen a cannabis plant growing on the side of the road. So I was familiar with what the plant looked like. Um, but the use, it was not legal.
Mhm.
The for recreational purposes, the use is not, it wasn't legal. And even right now, the medical side of cannabis is coming up big time in India. So stigma, some of the stigma is there, but I think it's a lot worse in Canada.
Mm.
Because
Because it's
here,
always
the
been
the
part
minute
of
you mention,
and a holistic healing tool, or
yeah, in India, more, it's more of a, it's being treated as one of the additional plants in Ayurveda. And
Mm.
there are a lot more plants in India that also have um, psychedelic effects. Like, even generally, despite not only India, there are other plants that
Mhm.
have psychedelic component in there. But do we can or they are poisonous in smaller quantities, like foxglove, but they are still being used in medicine. So
Mhm.
it depends on the dosage. If
Mm.
you are taking it in a medicinal capacity, then it has a smaller dosage. You increase the dosage, it becomes something else. We
Mm.
don't question when somebody is taking a cough syrup and they have a small amount of alcohol in there. We don't call them that, are you drinking?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yet we
Yeah,
have the same stigma attached to cannabis. If there is a 2.5 or 5 milligram of, or there's a microdosing in there, suddenly it's a drug. Like, even
Mm.
when I visited my dentist office, I had to check off the box that I was using a drug, because in according to our health services form, they are considering even smaller dosage um, of cannabis as a drug. They are
and it's
not asking
wrong.
them. I'm not
I,
checking off the box
I
that I'm drinking when I'm taking cough syrup.
Right. And I understand that they need to know this information because it could be relevant when it comes to dosing or if you have any procedures coming up. But the fact that they're calling it a drug, like it's a bad thing, as opposed to a medicinal plant.
Mhm. Mhm.
That wild.
Exactly.
So now that you've been on this journey with cannabis, did you test out your oil when you were making it? What led you to
Or how
creating
did
the
you start
oil? Yeah.
consuming?
Unfortunately, I could not test out my oil myself. Being a brand, I was not allowed the access to the sampling due to the Health Canada and AGLC's restrictions as to how I could access it. So I had to rely on others who could, who within the license producers facilities, who were allowed to consume it and provide me a feedback. So I got a very positive feedback early on. I already knew the benefits of sea buckthorn extract. We knew the benefits of CBD. So combination, theoretical evidence was there that it's going to be a good combination. The taste is there, but the final product I didn't get to test out until I was able to obtain it from the retail framework. And that was a restriction. Being a brand, I could not have access to the samples of my own products. So I had to rely on more objective feedback of others
I didn't know
prior
that.
to.
That is crazy. And like some people don't handle criticism well. Like good for you for growing rain and sunshine. But also very sad that as a creator of a product, you literally had to wait and then buy it back off the shelf to be able to sample your own thing for the world.
That's
Yeah,
why.
and that's all because of the QA requirements that are attached to Health Canada, the licensed producers who they could give out the products to. So they could not give that product. Now with this sampling, new change in the sampling regulation, the rules are changing. So all my future products that would be coming in the market, I would have an opportunity to try them beforehand.
That's good. So we're moving
That's
in
good.
the right direction.
We're moving forward. Little tweaks.
Okay, you said before you opened your retail store that you were in business and finance. That's also my background. I like that we have the same background there. But then opening a retail store is not a cheap move. Like, this is not something that's like, budget friendly. This also isn't something that's like, for sure, what made you jump? What made you be like, okay, I'm doing it?
I'm going to heal the people.
Because it's not exactly like something that you could be like, do, and if you don't like it 6 months later, you're like, oh, it's okay, try something else,
Well, several factors. I left my working world in 2015 when my kids were becoming teenager, um, because at that point I had made a decision that I'd done several different roles within financial industry, and now I was at a point that whenever I jump into anything, it would not be another job. It'll have to be something that I own, so that I can be an entrepreneur, be responsible for the business. So being a owner was definitely something that I was looking into after that. Um, but whether I wanted to go into retail, um, no, it was something new, but I was open to it because I started off my financial career on the customer service side. So I knew that I had very strong sales skill. I had very strong customer service skill combined with the passion that I had for the product. And also the passion that I had for the wellness and for the business itself. I knew that I was very, very invested. So was retail a challenge? Yes, a little bit of challenge, a little bit of scary as to how are we going to do, but I was open to the learning opportunity. Because where's the fun in keep doing the same thing over and over again? It's new challenges, new opportunities, and interacting with people. It would make my day.
And then it's at that point you decided you were going to take the full plunge into helping people and create a product on the market as well? Or was it after you had this story?
It was always in the back of my mind that that would be my next step. So when I got into dispensary, it was with a plan that this was going to be a starting point, and then I would like to lead it to somewhere else, either going into setting up my own grow up or developing my products. So developing products I found to be a good medium because there were too many licensed producers out there. Do I want it to be another one of those? And I had no experience in growing. So making a product more fit with my capabilities, some my own strengths. So I decided to leverage that to build on that instead of going into a grow up.
I love how you just leaned into your soul and just went with it.
Now, you said that when your children were teenagers, you came into the cannabis industry. How was it shifting to be now what we call a canna mom? Like how was that transition for you?
Did your kids give you a little flack? Like, what are you doing over there,
Oh,
Mom?
of course they did. My daughter, she was grade 11 at the time. So I know that in schools, kids are using cannabis, although my kids had never used it, but they were aware of it. So they had their own viewpoint, their own stigmas attached to it because I had heard the conversations before. So I had to sit my children down and tell them that this is what I was planning to do. Dispensary was still 6 to 8 months away, but I had to prepare them, work with them. So the first reaction that I got was that I got a very strange look from my daughter, and she said, "So what am I going to tell my friends now? That my mom is a drug dealer?" So yes, the stigma started from home, but it also um, made me aware that the process of education that has to go hand in hand with this industry has to start from home. So that's where the education started. So um, my kid's attitude was the first one that I had to change, and it changed. I didn't have to do anything. I just had to um, keep on doing what I was doing, keep on talking about the positive side of it, keep on talking about how the customers were coming in, showing them that this was more than just a psychedelic.
Mm-hmm.
And
And kids are on board, but it's a long process.
it is hard. And not only that, like we can educate them in our home, but it's hard when, you know, the federal government says it's a medicinal plant and it's legal for recreational and medicinal, but the schools are still teaching the children that this is a drug, like a drug,
Like with
no
addictions problems.
And this comes into their, like, you know, don't do this, drinking and driving's bad. And that's the rhetoric that they're getting from the school system. And that hurts my heart. But I love that you have a beautiful relationship with your children and you're able, through conversation, to foster a little seedling.
Yes, and now I'm a cool Canna mom because the friends know about it. So they come over, and now the friends are very comfortable talking to me about products and asking my opinions about certain things, even related to health issues. And that for me is huge because that means that even in smaller steps, that education piece has worked. There's a progress, there's a change. And this new generation, when they turn into adults, that's when the change will be fully realized.
Yes.
I had a
100%.
conversation. Well, our children are very educated on cannabis. Like our children are, but they have been since birth. Like, you know what I mean? So it's, for us, it's different because we've always been canna moms, you know what I mean? So I've always wondered what it would be like to just switch, because there's a stigma that you get from your child, right? But then also, like, there's the mom guilt. Like, the mom guilt is real, like whether you're a canna mom or not. And so I've always like wondered like what that would be like. So thanks for sharing that, because that's there's like in our house, it's just another herb in our garden. It's just another plant. And just like medicine, you have to be fully developed to ingest it. So,
and I like that you recognize your kids are going to have their own opinions and they're not going to align with you, and that's okay too. And you guys can still have beautiful conversations around it. And I've been feeling that a lot lately because, you know, we've always talked about cannabis as a plant. It's just another medicinal herb in the garden. But now that the kids are getting older and to be teenagers, they're hearing things from their friends and the school's telling them things. And then, you know, they're like, well, is that the truth over there?
Yes.
And they're starting to question, but it's good.
Yeah, and it's been easier to educate the children as opposed to working with the adults who are set in their opinions. Working in a dispensary, I came across so much of stigma. I have had people tell me that, oh, I'm not going to buy weed from you because you look like my mom. And I feel weird buying weed from my mom. And also having, like, there were customers who would initially, when we opened the dispensary, covering their faces, coming up after dark, parking their cars on the side of the street so that people who know them would not see them walking in the store. So adult stigma is a lot worse than dealing with the children, because children have open mind. You can educate them, and they don't have all these built biases in their mind that are coming from society.
That is so true, because there's so many people that I know personally from a certain generation, and they know the benefits they're getting, and they will tell you, like, that CBD back rub changed my life. But they don't want to be seen. They don't want that stigma attached of someone in their community seeing them walk into that store, or the mailman talking and they got put in their mailbox, you know? So it's hard.
For in the future, or no, sorry, for a moment, I want to talk about that people are slowly changing the adults' views. Like, you attended our high tea party, you were there with us, and even just the venue's opinion. When we got the keys, they were real nervous. They were like, "What are you guys doing? You're having a tea party. Like, okay. And I was like, I always have to be super open and honest with people when we're using their space for an event kind of thing, because we don't want to take anybody off on the side. But anyways, after the whole event happened, you could see their opinion on cannabis change. And now in my tiny little community, they're like showing pictures of the event, being like, look how beautiful this was, look how cool it was. Oh, they had the best time. And so now they're advocating for us being non-consumers because they
And
just
that's what
saw
we
the
need.
environment that we created, right? So super crazy. Love that. What's next for you? Like, what are you working on next? What's something that we can like
Support you.
Yeah.
Well, there are more products that are under development, more wellness-oriented products. Um, uh, there are some bath salts. I have been working on some edibles. Again, they are going to have the wellness component in there. The herbs that are targeting a specific health issues, like pain or skin condition or even hormone balance. At the same time, I have seen that the things move very slow in cannabis space. So all the products that I wanted to launch, they have not getting them from the idea to the market. It can take up to a year, and then again, so many hurdles as to what else is out there, whether provinces will be open to accepting new product in that category or not. So I've also at the same time decided to move forward with a sister company so that I can bring wellness products to the market using the hemp seed oil as a base, as opposed to cannabis, and then having Ayurvedic components added to that. So there's going to be a um, lot more variety in there in terms of wellness and some nutraceutical component in there as well. So hopefully in next few months, and Canada, um, the Camp Canna is where I would first time bring some of those products to the vendor market to introduce them. And then we'll see where things go. I am excited for the future because there's a lot more that can be done in this direction. And let's see what I can do.
I'm so
Yeah.
excited, and it is beautiful to see that we are getting all these wellness products, and it's not just some nasty RSO or tincture. We are really seeing an expansion from like skincare products to how you take care of yourself.
I am an advocate. I have spent a ridiculous amount of money on a various amount of face wash products, like you know what I mean, like skincare lines.
Yeah.
I got a CBD skincare line. My skin feels amazing. It's also sensitive. In my older age, I've learned that my skin is getting sensitive, and if I try a new face wash, it gets all red and blotchy. But the CBD face wash soothes. It's so nice. My skin's so soft. But you said it. You're coming to Camp Canna. I'm so excited to see you there with all of your new products.
Me too.
I think that Camp Canna is going to be a really great opportunity for people to get to know you, your story, why you do what you do, because, you know, like, we know we love you. We advocate for you all the time. You know, once the word gets out there, and you said somebody who didn't want to buy products from you because it was like your mom. I would love to buy products from my mom. I know I'm getting taken care of.
Yeah. You're gonna make
You know?
sure
But again,
only
it's the stigma of hiding the cannabis use from your parents.
Right.
So again,
Yeah.
that's the goal.
I get that.
Exactly. Is there anything you wanted to touch on before we end things up today, Geeta?
Yeah, I am quite concerned about the cannabis industry in general. It was a beautiful move that we stepped into this cannabis space. We were one of the leaders on international space to get into this. But I am concerned about where we are heading. It seems like on an international level, all the countries that came after us, they are getting ahead, they are making progress, they're making changes. But Canada is, we are so stuck on the regulations, we are not adapting fast enough. This is a very, very dynamic market. Things are moving fast, so we need to have ability to change the policies, bring about the changes at the same speed. But it seems like it's not happening fast enough. And the whole cannabis space is suffering. The retailers are suffering. The producers are suffering. So if there is no incentive for the producers or the legal market or the people to be in the legal market, how is this business going to be successful? The whole idea of making um, cannabis legal was so that we could get rid of the legacy space. But
Mhm,
people in the legacy space also need to pay their bills.
mhm.
Where's the incentive for them to turn legal if the minute they turn legal, they are the ability to pay their bills is going to be taken away from them?
Yep, red tape, fee,
And it's
policy
pay
change.
in full up front. Like, it's crazy with it. You know what I
And
mean?
then
Like,
if there's a change, you got to submit some more money with your changes and
and
your
so
paperwork.
much money. These are not tiny fees. This is
No.
It's
And
like
then
they're
once
forgetting that
you're
it's a plant.
regulated, there's the provincial tax, there's the federal tax, there's the excise tax, tax.
Yeah.
And these people are expected to make a living and keep their doors open, and the government's making more money than them off every dollar.
Mhm.
It's sad.
And we've been screaming
Yep.
it from the mountaintops this whole time that, like, obviously we need to see change. We need more open mindedness. We need more safe spaces. We need education. We need to be able to promote and market. Like, our news story a couple weeks ago was the finance critics were thinking that we hit our ceiling for a total amount of market share on cannabis in Canada. And if we don't change our marketing rules, we're never going to be able to get new consumers in. I didn't even know if Carrie didn't tell me that they made THC Caesars. I would have never known about it because I just wouldn't have seen it. You know what I mean? And unless you like go in and you look at it, it's literally word of mouth in this industry. And there's no other industry that is word of mouth except illicit ones.
But on the plus, we are seeing changes. We know that the federal regulation changes are coming out in the spring. We also seen other provinces taking that step and not waiting and making those changes. So I am hopeful that Alberta has been listening and there are going to be some changes come on a provincial level and not wait for that federal level, because we need a break around here, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, which reminds me, since we got into it, since we're just grinding our beans over here. Is there anything else that is grinding your beans when it comes to the cannabis, Geeta?
Oh, that is a very interesting question.
This is our morning sesh.
Yeah. Before we gotta get
I'm not sure.
angry.
I want to see more innovation in the market. More, I want to see cannabis products as treated as a health products in the health stores. So yeah, I wake up every morning with some optimism, despite all these restrictions, all these. So yeah, I'm looking forward to those changes. I'm looking forward to bigger market. I'm looking forward to international, more international space for the products, opportunities to cross the borders. So yeah, a lot to look forward to.
I am looking forward to the tourism sector opening up to cannabis, and I feel like this is going to be a beautiful domino effect when it comes to advertising and education and the beautiful marriage between Indigenous cannabis and the legal market. And let's get these legacy guys what they need to be on this legal market.
Absolutely. Yes. So, where can people find you, Geeta? Where can they reach out to you after the show if they want to find you?
Well, they can contact me directly, either reach out to follow our social media, message me directly through social media, or even email at info@mantracannabis.ca. Contact me directly. I will respond to the emails personally. Anybody wants to reach out to me on social media, otherwise they can find my products in Alberta in different retail stores. But otherwise, I'm available. I would respond to anybody who reaches out to me.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being with us today, Geeta.
Thank you for sharing your light and space with us and the community. We appreciate you. We just love your products, both for skin and ingestion. May I ask?
Yes. Exactly. A little bit of.
All right. So with that being said, we have something a little different today for our quote of the day. So we're gonna roll into
I feel
that.
like we need to precursor. Okay. Bye, Geeta. Thank you so much. We need
Hi, thank you for having me.
Okay. Thank you.
We need
Okay, we need to give a warning because
There's no warning needed.
There's
Just
no warning. I
Just
was
a
sick this
regular
week.
day.
Good morning, you bad, beautiful motherfucker. 1 fuck, 2 fuck, 3 fuck, 4. Here's another affirmation that you didn't ask me for. Fuck yeah. So look in the mirror and repeat after me. Holy fuck, is that me? Fuck yeah, it is. I am a bad, beautiful motherfucker. And there is no amount of stress that can make up for the fact that I don't give a fuck. You smell that? That's the smell of every last fuck that I don't give. Fuck yeah, make it a great
Alexis was sick.
I was
And
so
I had a
sick.
genius idea for the quote of the week, you guys. I hope you loved it.
I was so
was
sick.
killing
And I just
myself.
let her do what she wanted to do.
I was like, we'll surprise everyone. They're expecting a nice, beautiful, uplifting quote. Well, you know what? Sometimes you just need to not give a fuck. You're beautiful. You can fucking do anything you put your fucking mind to. And let's see how many times we can say fuck in one row. We swore this morning. It's okay. You got this.
What did they say? Bad, beautiful motherfucker.
Bad, beautiful motherfucker. So, welcome to a sweary mindful moment of the day, my friends. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Thank you again to Geeta.
Mhm.
Is there anything else you want to tell our friends before we go? Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, don't
You
forget.
can catch all of our things. Oh, there is something we need to tell you guys. We're going to take a break at the end of June. We have a couple more guests lined up for you.
Mhm.
And then we're going to break for the summer. Obviously, kids, Camp Canada, it's a
Mhm.
lot.
Mhm.
But we have some other cute things we're going to be popping on the YouTube channel. And we'll keep you informed about in the meantime. So if you want to see something, let us know.
Mhm.
More
Yeah,
shenanigans.
anything. Should we be like getting stoned and talking about murder mysteries? Should
Alexis
we be like,
really wants to tell
I
you
really
about
wanna
some
do that.
cannabis crimes.
I don't know if there are any like cannabis crimes well documented, but like, you know,
We'll get to the bottom of
get
this.
to the bottom of it.
My research dictates. All right, well, I'm sorry for swearing at you guys. If I scared anyone
Our mindful
away.
moment.
You're all beautiful. You're all necessary. We love you all. And I love that you guys get my sense of humor. Just remember that we're all supposed to be unique, guys. If we're all the same, it would be a boring effing day. So, have the best day, friends. And I'll catch you on the flip
Bravissimo.
side.
We didn't cheers.
No, we didn't.
You don't even know our things anymore.
No.